I would like to introduce our very first speaker. So our first speaker is a motivational, humorist, and breakthrough coach. So what does that mean? He will tell you later. If you still don't understand, you can ask him that question later on in the chat box. He has coached more than 1,000 MDRT and COT across Southeast Asian countries using his special trademark combination of humor and empathy. He's a project leader for AIA, Prudential, Great Eastern, Manulife, UOB, and many more. Last year, he published his book, Grief to Gratitude. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Mr. Ken Kish.
Good evening, MDRT. Good afternoon, MDRT. And good morning, MDRT. For wherever you are in the world, welcome to today. My name is Ken. Growing up, I always felt that I wasn't accepted. I felt that because of my racial background and my upbringing, I felt different and not wanted.
Sorry, Ken. Can you unmute yourself because you're currently mute right now?
Okay. Good evening, MDRT. Good afternoon, MDRT. And good morning, MDRT. From anywhere, the parts of the world. My name is Ken. Sorry about the glitch. My guys got it down. So I hope that you are hearing me right now. So let me start. Growing up, I've always felt that I wasn't accepted. I felt that because of my racial background and my upbringing, I felt different and not wanted. I only understood to be understood is to be accepted, and true connection is when someone understands you. I have always thought that people didn't want to listen to what I say because they didn't accept or understand me. So growing into adulthood, I was still struggling with my communications and connections. Some were hits and many were misses. So ironically, I thought having a degree in mass communications could help me in connecting authentically with others. So one fine day while working part-time at NKF, also known as the National Kidney Foundation, one of the head nurses actually brought this up. Ken, your communications with people is very good. The 19-year-old me felt pride. Question is, why would a simple compliment like this light me up? Well, because I realized momentarily people understood me, and that made me feel accepted and belonged. So apparently, I had experienced my own brand of authentic connections, but I still felt green. I reflected on the compliment that was given to me. Did I crack the code on connections? My interactions and communications with the participants at NKF were carried out without any expectations. Real connection begins when you stop trying to impress. Therefore, connections is like giving without expectations. So do you recall that wanting to impress your new prospect? Do you feel that continuing need to impress your clients? I was so bothered with impressing people when I met them. Trying to impress them starts from before, during, and after the meet. To not impress them somehow brought me that sense of fear. So communication and wanting to connect becomes a very tiring process for me. This is the authentic connections, the proven practical art of connecting with strangers. I will be sharing with you my PAL system, a framework that I've put together to set your mental and emotional capacity before entering into a conversation. After understanding this system, you will know what is needed for better and closer conversations. You'll be more aware what to look out for internally and externally when entering into a conversation. These conversations would in turn become an authentic connection. Through my social experiment that I've been carrying out yet to complete, the 50 connections and counting would help me constantly understand what are the small things to look out for before, during, and after the conversation. Bringing more awareness to this can bring a connection to possibly bloom. Connection created in an authentic way is beneficial to the personal and business life. With this understanding, both parties will definitely benefit from this connection. The conversation will be from a want to a have to. So imagine meeting someone for the first time and they are genuinely interested in hearing more from you. and they want to explore the conversation beyond the surface level. That's the essence of authentic connection. It's when a stranger feels the compelling feeling, wanting to continue chat with you, simply because of the genuine connection, free from any expectation or gain. It's a moment of pure human engagement. So let me start with sharing with you a very simple process chart for an authentic connection to occur. So firstly, a stranger will interact with you. A person who does not know you interacts with you for the first time. Then it will flow to the next stage of interest and engagement. They genuinely want to continue that conversation. Next, there's no motive. Their interest is not driven by financial gain or transaction. And finally, authentic connection, a meaningful, deeper exchange is formed. So trying to connect was important to me. I felt the need to understand authentic connections. Therefore, at the age of 25, I decided to work for a magazine company to do ad sales with editorial. I knew that cold markets could be what I need to challenge the concept of connecting with strangers. So cold door knocking was part of it. It was a real fear for me. I literally do not know what to do, but what I knew was I should think less and just do. So most of the times I brought my best, and these behaviors was difficult for me. I listened with presence, leaving my ego outside, and let the process flow. So after a span of 3 months, I managed to clock $250,000 worth of sales for the company. Not too shabby for a rookie. I instantly knew then, authentic connections is the building block of sales. So I invite you to think of a client whom you enjoyed serving till today, whom you have been entrusted you all this while. What brought about the start of this client-advisor relationship? Was it your expertise? Was it your brand? Or was it purely transactional? None of the above. Nope. It was real, true, authentic connections and the trust this relationship was formed on. The PAL system helps you get your emotions and headspace in a good place before you engage in a conversation with someone. With the understanding what PAL stands for, your conversation will continue to deeply root in a stronger foundation towards authentic connection. This can only get better with more conversations. So many of us may have an idea of what is needed to make a connection, but for authentic connection to form, it takes more than just, hello, how are you? So what can you do before a conversation were to happen? First, you need to set a purpose. This purpose will be the overarching guide on how you handle the overall sentiment of the conversation. Then comes the approach, which is bringing and understanding what you can give to the person. This will be of value to them. This happens with the first few moments of what comes to you in the form of feedback and replies from them. To bring that value, you will need to gather an understanding of what brings value to them. The value to each different person differs. As the saying goes, different strokes for different folks. So lastly, it's the language. The language touches on verbal and non-verbal communication. This is the way you carry out the conversations. The bandwidth of understanding would need to be suited for the conversation. You will need to bring it to their level of understanding. This embodies throughout the conversation because you take feedback and continue to adjust the language to bring comfort and familiarity. Purpose. Firstly, purpose. You're building the trust, connection, and value. All this will be easier if you set your intentions first. When you are having premeditative thoughts of conversation, the purpose usually tends to lean towards a less giving conversation. It stems from wanting something from having that conversation. It can be as basic as wanting an emotion invoked from the conversation. The conversation can be seen as a validating action. When you enter the conversation, there are 3 things you need to not expect. Don't expect, don't label, and don't judge. The 3 don'ts. So 2 years ago, me and my missus decided to visit Kuching, the capital of Sarawak, situated on island of Borneo. Well, it was my first time. So on the last morning during the breakfast at the hotel, we chanced upon this dish called Sarawak Laksa. How did we miss such an important heritage food on our holiday? I was wondering. My missus and I had a little debate about the name of this dish. Unknowingly, an elderly man walked over and started correcting me. My initial thoughts were, why the uninviting response? But that thought was fleeting because I knew expectation should take a back seat. The elderly gentleman explained to me that there is a difference between typical laksa and Sarawak laksa. I thanked him and took this opportunity to ask him more about Kuching. Well, he showed his knowledge with a warm laugh and telling stories like a grandfather would. I truly enjoyed that. But sitting opposite her was a lady wearing a constant frown. I didn't want to be overly friendly and disturb their time together, so I didn't engage her in any conversation. But I nodded to her now and then to acknowledge her presence. But she still remained reserved. Well, uncle and auntie were actually from Kuching, but they have moved to Canada many years ago, and they were back here visiting family. In fact, that day was their very day to departure to Canada. So, strangely, I sensed an opening to connect. Each time I asked a question to uncle, I caught a flicker of a reaction on auntie's face. And suddenly she interrupted, "No! Sarawak laksa has no fish!" Aha! She spoke. The iceberg slowly melts. I felt invigorated. She showed interest. With this understanding, the conversation shifted from me and uncle to me and auntie. We talked about life. We talked about family in general. She started asking me about my work, and I shared that I used to be a business owner turned motivational humorist and a breakthrough coach. As we spoke, she started to share deeper feelings of being always misunderstood. I sensed that she really wanted to be understood. This emotion was all too familiar to me. Auntie Gail, your strength may not be appreciated by everyone. When a plate can be slaughtered on the slits of a drain cover, it doesn't mean it's supposed to be there. So as we continued, I gently pointed out some of her behaviors could be her strengths and may not be appreciated by everyone. And then she said something that took me out of surprise. I have never had a person speak to me in this manner, let alone my husband. There was a moment of silence, and a tear followed. It didn't feel awkward to me. I smiled and I uttered, "I understand." Her husband then offered her a handkerchief and she wiped the tears. In that moment, I felt a connection with this woman, Auntie Gail. She had opened up to me to a complete stranger in a way she hadn't with others. And I'd given her the space and avenue for her to bear in that single moment. I glanced at my watch and I reminded them about their flight. I took out my phone and we captured this photo. The first smile I've seen on Auntie Gail. They stood up and after a quick handshake, they left for the lobby to catch their ride to the airport. So my missus was looking at me and she acknowledged that moment that just happened. A couple of minutes passed and I see Auntie Gail hurrying back to us. She handed us a piece of paper with an email address. "Please," she said, "come visit me in Canada." I was so surprised by her inviting a stranger to visit. It was a beautiful, authentic connection. Often, when we talk to our clients, new or old, we might unconsciously try to lead the conversation. But have we truly decided to listen, to let go of the need of control? Because in any conversation, perhaps the greatest gift we can offer is our time and a safe space. So bring yourself back to the clients you have interacted. Could visiting and revisiting those connections with a genuine intention to listen and provide that time and space create a deeper, more impactful presence? Someone started speaking to me when I didn't expect, and I couldn't expect how Auntie Gail would behave. I let them lead and bring the conversation. The trust was built by letting them speak when they are ready. The connection and value is made and given when they could see that I bring a different angle to their old sentiments. The moment you expect people to be a certain way, you can then begin to enjoy them for who they really are. Auntie Gail is 72. She is spunky, full of life and energy. Now for approach, giving that vision. I used to have this slogan that guided me in my early entrepreneurial journey. Guess what? Pursue your daydreams. It's the first time I heard this slogan. It took me some moments to make sense out of it. Till today, I still know how important dreams are to a person's life. Many of us lose the concept of daydreaming. We have lost the idea and possibility because the surroundings has made us turn dreams into fears. I say, bring on the dreams, spread the dreams, because reality first needs to be seeded as a dream before taking shape. So I have dedicated this approach to show the possibility of dreams. I was at a workshop getting the car sorted out. Nothing major, just a quick service. And I handed over to the mechanic when I was about to leave. I saw a car in the distance, a properly beautiful car. The color, the rareness, and the cleanness look. I am an appreciator of rare cars, so naturally I had a peek inside the window, just admiring the interior. Check out the car. I could see how someone might have thought I was up to no good, hanging around like that. And then suddenly, this young guy walks up to me, looking puzzled about why I had interest in his car. I quickly straightened up, like being sprung on. Then like a retro car, I gave the thumbs up. Cool car, dude. He acknowledged the compliment in the friendliest way. Turns out, he was also a customer. We just started chatting. Nothing deep, just the usual stuff between guys. So he got quite interested when I mentioned what I do for work. Next thing you know, we were swapping social media contacts. We kept in touch and our meetings evolved into a brotherly connection. He shared deeply personal issues from navigating business difficulties to feeling stuck in life's crossroads. I was surprised because the initial chats didn't reveal those sentiments and I wondered. At one time, I sensing him out, burning out, just after his experience of a multi-car collision. This feeling came as a very familiar experience. I knew how it was to be lost, to crave clarity on moving on. I knew that this opportunity would be a moment for me to truly embrace the big brother role. I offered clarity for his challenges to help him remain steadfast. I answered his questions and gently reminded him of what truly matters. So what truly matters to you? I knew he needed to feel what the world truly is, observing the wider color spectrum of life. I encouraged him to travel. This was me giving that vision. Not holidaying, okay? But consciously observing the world outside his current world, his current reality. Much like my own backpacking days and motorcycling touring adventures many years ago. I got lost through blind exploration. I knocked on strangers' doors for lodging, but I found a part of me while sitting on a mountaintop, observing rolling clouds pass me. He embraced the idea with no reservations. Soon after, he was contacting me from overseas, sharing pictures with tales of his adventures and newfound friends. It was a proud moment to have that front row seat to observe a person's tribulations, which it didn't stop them, but yet the human spirit continued pursuit of that beautiful life. Our friendship did not end here, but grew into a collaboration. We worked together on my book launch on January 16, 2025 in Singapore. The book is From Grief to Gratitude. So I understand that he is a guitar guru, and I asked if he or his student wanted to perform as an accompanying act to my book launch. He agreed without hesitation, and I'm very grateful. He brought his guitar magic. It's amazing, isn't it? Just admiring a car at a workshop, and it leads to a real connection, a friendship, and now a collaboration that makes you wonder. Many potential connections and opportunities we might miss in our daily lives. So while it's one thing to hear a story like this, maybe the true real takeaway is understanding that unexpected connections and relationships aren't just stories. There are possibilities that can actually unfold in our own lives. So conversation with clients will evolve over the years. You know that. Soon after, you could be actually their confidant. The worries they share could be a heavy burden they carry. Listening sounds like sharing their burden, but when you find a way out from chasing a tail, isn't that worth sharing that possibility with them? Sometimes, all someone needs is a glimpse beyond their current reality. It's a gentle nudge towards a possibility they never dared to imagine or even dream. So for the third one is language. How you make them feel. The language is not just about what it's heard. It's also encompassing the verbal and non-verbal communication. What can be seen will also be attributed to how the other party starts and continues to build a certain perception of you. With every moment of interaction, directly or indirectly, they begin to form an understanding of you. This is how they shape the perception of you. This perception is shaped by three things. Remember three things, huh? One, your style of speech. Number two, how well you identify with their interests. And three, how much they feel that similarity or connection with you. So these three factors will help you shape the language being used for that individual. So there I was in Osaka on a freezing morning. And I still wondered how I let my missus convince me to queue up in that cold weather. We get to this Michelin-starred place, and it's like the rest of the town haven't even woken up. So now this place wasn't some cozy indoor spot. It was pretty much out there in the open and just a flimsy shelter. I was about to pay top dollar for raw tuna and unagi with zero comfort. Yeah, I know I sound like a grouch, right? But maybe I was just needing some food in my tummy. So anyway, we get there, and there was no queue, no staff prepping anything. So we figured we'll take a look around. After a few minutes, we decided to head back and get in line. So I'm picturing myself being, first in line, but bam, there's already a queue forming up, and maybe it was the Singaporean in me. But I felt a little frizzled that I wasn't the first one. So I get in line behind this couple, and straight away I realized their dressing. It was out of this world. Colors you didn't even knew existed. All outfit, the hair, the style I've never seen. Just completely unique. They made me feel like I was plain vanilla. I didn't make a move to chat with them right away because standing in the cold with an empty stomach, I really don't have the mood. So eventually we get ushered to a table. Another new dining experience because it was a standing table. And guess who ends up at the same table? That same colourful couple. They were clearly not local looking Caucasian. So the food arrived, this amazing raw tuna and tuna chicks and my favourite unagi. As I ate, I caught both of their couple's eyes. The eyes were expressions of pure enjoyment. They were communicating without even saying a word, just through their body language. So the nodding, the creasing of the eyelids, and the slight smiles were all the language we didn't hear. So naturally, I just needed to understand where are they from. So I asked them, where are you guys from? They said, Australia. But when they explained they weren't originally from there, Nathan was actually from Ireland. His wife Jodane was just full of life, color inside and out, and just like a character out from a cartoon. It hit me. You can actually connect through food. It's a universal language, isn't it? They were curious about me too, where actually I came from. I gave them a few guesses, but they were stumped. They couldn't guess. So finally I told them, Singapore! They said they have been in Singapore many years ago and they would love to experience the food scene again. And I, the self-proclaimed ever makan guru, replied, well, you are in luck. So I stuck to English with Nathan and Jordan, and it made me realize there are many different flavors of English. You got your formal business English, the local slang English, and then the English spoken by Aussies, Americans, and Queens English. The Singaporean English, True Blues English with all its last and unique pronunciation is actually a beast altogether. So I made the conscious effort to speak clearly with proper diction to make it easier for them. They were actually really happy because they always thought that English in Singapore and also Malaysia was difficult to understand. In Singapore and neighboring Malaysia, I guess you know that, English is this wonderful rojak mix of Malay, Chinese, and even Tamil. Japa boy? That chance encounter in the freezing cold in Osaka blossomed into a real friendship. Over months, Nathan and Jordan actually met up with me and my missus in Singapore more than once. Nathan even brought his brother along on their family holiday just to see me during the layover. So with every conversation, I realized our friendship just grew stronger. Jordan even left a soft toy in a hotel in Singapore one of the trips and asked me to help ship it back to her, which I gladly did. I was happy to help. So in coincidence, Nathan is actually a child psychologist back in Australia. So actually one of the testimonials in my book that came out months ago, I actually got him to write a testimonial for me. I'm truly thankful for the testimonial for my book, From Grief to Gratitude. It all started with a cold morning, some raw fish, and a willingness to connect. Even across different ways of speaking the same language, you actually know that a clear communication and a bit of shared humanity can really bridge any gap. So have you used the language suited for that connection with your clients? Anyone? Say me in your chat. What if deeper connections can be formed just because the language is what they needed for the true understanding? When the right language is used, how would the conversation have felt? How do you make people remember you? Is it the things you said? Or will it be what you did? I truly believe it is how you make them feel. So I would like to share a saying very close to my heart. People will forget what you say, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Maya Angelou, African American poet. So to sum up my PAL system of purpose, approach, and language, think of PAL system as a journey, not a destination. Begin by understanding and practicing just one element, and as it becomes comfortable within the next element, remember, even actually one element, either purpose, approach, or language, can spark that connection. But when the three of it come together, purpose, approach, and language, the conversation transforms into this beautiful flow, leaving both parties feeling deeply connected and understood. So I'm going to share 10 quick tips on how you can do the same to expand your network authentically. Number 1, do not judge what a person can give or teach you. Number 2, keep an open mind and open heart during the conversation and throughout. When starting a conversation, engage with keen, genuine interest in the other party. Number 4, compliments are not always necessary. Actually be curious about your clients. That actually works better. So number 5, the conversation is supposed to let the other person know and feel you're actively listening. That is what you call presence. So number 6, during the conversation, you do not steer what you want, but rather let them share with you what needs to be handled. It will come. Number 7, true understanding, true listening, always trust to be found. Number 8, draw and share parallel points during the conversation. This shows empathy and vulnerability. Number 9, an authentic connection isn't about win-win, but it brings the fire to the winter corners of a person's heart and will make them feel warm. Number 10, last but not least, You are not compelled to help and save the other party because just you know the problem. The choice is always them. Last but not least, in spirit of MDRT Gives Day 2025 in Malaysia and beyond, I shall give away my newly minted From Grief to Gratitude to 3 individuals around the world. No matter where you are, I will personally post the book to you. So start scanning the QR code over here. Okay, over here. All you need is just do one thing. Post a story and tag me on Instagram and share with me why you won the book. So simple. Okay? These 3 winners will be chosen by my teammates of JSI. Woohoo! So, to end this, I would like to share with you, be grateful for the conversations that will come. And turn your conversation into authentic connections. My name is Ken, humorist and breakthrough coach. Peace out. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ken. That was a really wonderful presentation of your PAL system purpose, approach, and language.
Thank
So
you,
we do have a
Long.
few questions. Oh, you're very welcome. So we do have a few questions that we want to ask you. I think we have a bit of time. Yes, we do.
Oh, that's
Okay,
great.
The very first question. Yeah, the very first question I really love. This is something that many of us struggle with. Even I'm in the industry for almost 20 years. I still struggle with this question. This is a good one. How do I know when an authentic connection is formed?
How do I know when an authentic connection is formed?
Yes.
I realize that when you let the conversation flow and when people start sharing very in-depth details about themselves, you realize that that connection is actually formed. It's like when they share with you their pains, sometimes losing someone a couple of years ago. This kind of sharing is not a plain sharing you share with a stranger, but you share with a stranger when you feel that connection. And I'm sure many people want to be heard. It's just whether we want to listen.
Great. So earlier, so what you were saying is that when the moment, whoever you are trying to connect with, when they start sharing very personal, in-depth story with you, you know that you have done a good job forming that connection.
Yeah. So the thing is, when people share and when our mind is not at present, we do not know that they are sharing with us very deep details about their life, some pains. So be in present and you will understand that people are ready to open to you when you're ready to receive.
Right, yep. Okay, so we're going to move on to a second question I see here on the screen. Are you always successful? If not, were there times that you actually failed?
Actually, that's a very good question, dear Long. Even though with this PAL system, I have raised my percentage of getting authentic connections. But sadly, there are some people who do not want to connect. They are very transactional, and that's actually not a bad thing. Some people connect based on their time. It doesn't mean that you meet them for the first time. Plants, you need to give some love. Some plant grow faster, some plant grow slower, right? So this is all about love, the amount of attention you give. When you give your love and time and resources to your clients, don't take it that what you give is what you're supposed to receive in a given timeline in your mind. It will come, let it come.
Okay. Aziza, I hope that answered your question. If you have any follow-up question, feel free to type here. Okay, let's move on to another question here. Okay. Let me see. Okay. How can I overcome the fears of approaching strangers? Oh, this is also another good one.
Okay.
Very often we do have that kind of fear. So what do we do? Do we just jump around? Do we just, I don't know, wash your hand, go to the bathroom? Tell us.
Okay, so it's a true fear to actually start opening up to a stranger. But what I understood is when you start connecting with strangers, most of the time it's not for you to tell them about your life. They will be willing to share with you some aspects of it. So just a quick one. I was actually taking a flight to Brunei recently, and I was sitting beside an uncle who is in his 70s, retired. The whole time I was sleeping because I have an issue with with aeroplane taking off. So I was asleep, and before I know it, I was about 15-20 minutes to landing. I started talking to the uncle, and the next moment, he wanted to give me his water. So it's not so much about what you want to tell them, it's more so you start with the yes, hello. You do not need to share with them about your name. Just ask what you see about them. Why are you on a flight? Why are you here? Hi, do you enjoy your flight? Do you enjoy your meal? Simple questions can actually open a conversation.
So sometimes we don't have to think too much.
No, you do not need to think too much. You just need to do.
So do you also think that that's one of the issues that you see, coaching so many MDRT members, people in the industry, sometimes we over-process, we overthink a lot of our approaches?
Yeah, we are human and we have the brain and we let our thoughts control us sometimes a bit too much. And I'm sure being a seasoned financial planner, you know that actually more than 90% of our thoughts are actually pointless, right? Most of the things that we want to do, we are always stopped by thoughts. So every time when you see someone that you want to connect, just connect. Don't expect the conversation will go on. Just connect. And the more you do it, the fear will start water away.
Right. Just do it. Don't expect anything out of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes miracle, amazing thing can happen when you don't expect.
Yeah. That's how I spoke to you in Hong Kong, man.
That is true. Okay, I think we have time for one last question. There's one thing that I really enjoy. I'm going to so what we can do is we can take down all the questions and I don't know how you can answer them. We'll find a way. Okay.
Thanks,
here, someone is asking. What is it? Number 8. Someone is asking you to elaborate on point number 8. I have here. Draw and share parallel points during the conversation.
Okay.
This shows empathy and vulnerability.
Okay.
Can you elaborate on that, please?
Okay. So when you have conversation with people, as much as people are unique, there are some pointers about them that you can relate to. For example, when they tell you simple things like, recently I was at this shopping center, and this shopping center can be a shopping center that just opened. You can relate to that. And I realized that this service staff was not kind to me. You also can relate to that. So there is no experience that you can't relate to. It is how you open your conversation. You need to listen actively and not listen like a zombie. Participating in a conversation can be done in this manner. So when you listen actively, pick out some points on what you can connect. You are a mother, you are a child, you are a daughter, you are a son. Experiences are quite similar in everyone. No one is just only one unique experience, although there is possibility. So draw on other experiences.
I think what you say is very correct. I think when I first started, one of the big mistakes that I made was that because we were encouraged to talk to people, but we talk, but we don't listen. So
yeah. To be honest, I'm honest about this. I tell you, I'm a poor listener. That forced me to actually do authentic connections to get better.
Right. I feel like so often we are trying so hard to think of the next thing to say. We actually miss a lot of information that people throw at us. So,
yeah.
Okay. Well,
true that.
So, so once again, Ken, thank you so much for your presentation today. And so for those who want to get his book, remember he put on the QR code just now. Make sure you scan, and they have to do a post, right? Yeah,
you can do a story. Will be good. But you need to tag me so I would know.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's travel with Ken Kish. One word. Yeah, we'll put it on the chat. Okay.
Perfect. Great. All right. Well, once again, thank you so much, Ken. Thank you for being with us. Thank you. All right. That was an amazing start to tonight's event. So we have two more speakers that we have lined up for you. I am going to look at my screen and introduce our next speaker. I hope you're ready for it. Okay.